Here's Reinman in the Morning, on demand from 102.1 and 105.3, The Shark. It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
New research shows life expectancy drops if you have more than 2 drinks a night. Said New Englanders, that's why we drink during the day. TV writers could go on strike in April. If you want to see what TV with no writing looks like, watch Woody Harrelson host Saturday Night Live. Yes, Woody Harrelson hosted Saturday Night Live. And if you missed it, that's okay. So did he.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Reinman in the Morning.
Tonight, Celtics back in action down in New York City. They're playing against New York Knicks. Oh, my gosh. Did you see the end of the game the other night? Did you see how it came right down to the wire? Here, let's hear more about it now.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Jason Tatum beats the buzzer. Ever wear a hand buzzer? Good prank.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Reinman in the Morning. Now on Reinman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Megan, what's going on?
So this is really sweet. A New Hampshire loon, or several loons, got a helping hand after they got stuck on the ice because it was so cold. They got stuck, and there were eagles nearby, which is very scary. And thanks to the Loon Preservation Committee, they were rescuing these loons from the evil talons of the eagles.
Wow.
I know.
That is a lot of bird talk.
You know, this is something that you probably don't know about me. I have this, little soft spot for birds. I love birds. When I was a child, I wanted to grow up to be one of those scientists that worked with birds. I used to have, a bird feeder out my window, and I'd know all these different species of birds.
Really?
Yeah. And to this day, I obviously didn't go into that field, but I still follow a bunch of, TikTok accounts of parrots that go viral for singing or dancing or something cute. I can name 5.
My God. I'm the other way around. I'm not scared of all birds. Large birds, I am terrified of. Were you the one that wrote about the emu that got loose in Massachusetts?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That is funny.
That is horrifying.
You can legally own one in Massachusetts.
Did you see the face of that thing?
That was just a picture. That was a Getty image I pulled up.
Well, either
way, sorry, folks.
Emus. No, I used to work at Channel 7 in Boston. That was my second TV job, and there was a story about a lady here in New Hampshire who got chased by 4 emus, and I had to watch all the footage and go through all the stuff with my editor because I wrote the promos that would run during commercials. And I'm so scared of giant birds now.
Those things can run up to 30 miles an hour, so I don't anticipate that was much of a chase.
No. Yeah. Fun thing happened Saturday night. If you watch the Boston Bruins, I have to admit, I'm more of a basketball guy. I was watching that game, but there was something interesting that happened. The Bruins are just on fire. Do you ever one of those years where it's just like, oh my gosh, nothing can go wrong? That seems to be what's happening to them. They're scoring goals all over the place. Did you see who scored one the other night? Well, take a listen.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Bruins goalie scores a goal. The other goalie says, "What the puck?"
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Reinman in the Morning.
Well, Megan, before we get to what else is going on, we were also talking about this off air, and that this is how scared I am of giant birds, is that there was a scene in Scrubs with Zach Braff when he got attacked by a bunch of emus, and I stopped watching Scrubs because of that. I was so scared. I'm horrified of giant birds.
That sucks to be you then, because I think giant birds...
The language on this program, Megan, is just, you like the giant birds?
I do. I mean, I will say, if I was chased by one, I'd be a little concerned.
What do you do if you're chased by a giant bird? Because, we know what to do with bears. What about giant birds?
I don't know. Just hope it doesn't peck you.
Well, there's all these...
That's all it can really do, right?
Or
kick you, maybe? I don't know.
If anyone out there is listening, send me a message on the Shark app. Send me a message so I can get your information. I'd like to have you come in and tell me what to do if a giant bird attacks me. This is a real fear of mine.
It'll kick you with its toothpick legs.
Tell me about it. What else we got going on in the app, though?
So I know how much you love going to New York City, as I'm sure many do. There is a high-speed train from Boston to New York in the works that's going to make the commute all of 90 minutes.
What? Get out of here.
Yes.
I've been hearing rumors about this. Is this true?
Yes, it is. It's literally going to cut the commute in half.
But is it also true that it may take a while?
Yeah. It's going to be it's a hefty project, and it's going to take a hefty amount of years to fix it or to get it to completion.
You can read about the Shark app, shark1053.com, because, man, I was excited when I saw this, because I still have so many friends down there, and a lot of them still listen. Hi to all my friends in New York. Thank you for supporting the show. And I was like, oh, great, I could do this, but it's going to be a while, right?
Yeah, and it's going to be a pretty fast one, pretty fast train.
Okay.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
The New York Times ran an op-ed comparing politics to professional wrestling. That is incredibly insulting, said wrestlers. The comic strip Dilbert was canceled after an offensive rant by its creator. But on the flip side, Garfield has declared today Monday Fun Day. McDonald's plans to open more locations in China, said the nation's children. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, we're building them.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Reinman in the Morning.
Well, we reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app or shark1053.com. Megan has questions.
I've never heard of this before, and I had no clue it was even a thing. But you can get limited edition Nike sneakers honoring a Massachusetts restaurant?
Yes. And they look pretty cool. They're very expensive. But you know something? If you go to this place, I think you'll spend the money. I'll give you a hint. It's on Route 1 in Saugus, Massachusetts. I know a lot of athletes, a lot of comedians, a lot of singers like to go there when they're in town. It's kind of a landmark. But yeah, you can go there, and they have their own special edition sneakers. And boy, you go there and you eat so much, you might need some new shoes.
I am in the market for a new pair of shoes, or sneakers more specifically.
What would your shoes be like if you designed your own pair of shoes?
See, they wouldn't be all that exciting. My favorite color is purple, like a lavendery kind of purple. So honestly, I'm in the market for a pair of those like cloud foam Adidas with a stripe, and I wouldn't mind if the stripe was that purpley color.
For me, I would have to go with Skechers. I just like Skechers. I want to make a Celtics green Skechers. Skechers, wonderful shoe brand.
I had a pair of Skechers once.
No, I'm not done yet with my ad spec here. Skechers, really enjoy them. Wear them all the time. I've worn them since I was 21 years old. We run ads during the show. I love my Skechers. Sorry, Megan, you were saying?
No, that's literally it. Just that I had a pair of Skechers several years ago, but then I went down the Adidas route, and this past year I decided to give Nike a fair shot, but now I'm coming back to my one true love, Adidas. We have a very, very complicated relationship, but I think it's headed somewhere good. So
you might even call it sketchy. And if you're into things that are sketchy, Skechers shoes. Hey, did you see this, though? The Red Sox are playing in spring training, and there's a pitch clock this year to move games along. And there was a game the other day. It was Red Sox and Braves, and it ended because the batter from the Braves didn't get ready in time, and the clock went off, and they said, that's it, game's over. And he just took off. It was crazy. I might watch that this year. This would be great. We had the Benny Hill song, the guys running the bases. I don't know. I don't know much about this rule. You know, let's check in on someone who might.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
We want a pitch clock, not a belly itch clock.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Reinman in the Morning.
Hey, before we keep things moving right along here into the Sharkathon, this is something you're going to be hearing a lot about today. It's a big cultural thing. There's this movie phenomenon. I remember Snakes on a Plane. Well, we've kind of outdone it, and I don't know a whole much about it, so I called someone in on his day off, and maybe he can tell us what's going on.
I'm Charlie Butters with your Monday movie update. The number one movie at the box office was Cocaine Bear, but since I got there late, I had to settle for a ticket to Dimetap Fox. Cocaine Bear made $23 million at the box office, which is great news for its follow-up, Medicinal Marijuana Meerkat. Meanwhile, parents played it safe and rented the rated G version, Flintstones Vitamin Flamingo. Then we all settled in to watch Saturday Night Live, hosted by Weedy Woody. I'm Charlie Butters, and remember to keep your eye on the screen and your hand in the popcorn.
Megan, what's going on?
There is a Harry Potter-themed Airbnb in Massachusetts, which you honestly have to see it to believe it. But I really want to know, what's your Hogwarts house? I think I have a good guess as to what it is.
Okay. don't know Harry Potter at all. I have to learn it.
John.
I have to do I know. I missed it. I wasn't into it.
I haven't even read the books, and even I know.
Yeah, I've been on the rides. It seems fun, but no, I don't know it. Well, tell me, what are the houses and describe them to me real quick, and I can pick one. The look Megan just gave me.
Your options are Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, and Slytherin.
I feel like I'd be a Slytherin, right?
Actually, yes.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding.
Yeah,
that was what I want you can go online and take a test as to what house you're in, and I want to know tomorrow what your results are. That's your homework for today.
Is it on Zillow? What would you advise at this point? Should I rent or buy a Hogwarts house? What's the market looking like?
That's not how it works.
No?
It's kind of like sort of like your dorm. If you go to Hogwarts, it's like what dorm you're in.
When I was living in a dorm in college, there was a bad case of Hogwarts going around. So I guess
nasty.
That's why.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
A report claims that the COVID-19 virus could have been caused by a leak from a science lab. So does this mean I can eat bats again? A new study found that over the past 3 decades, the average man's endowment has increased 24%, which is why the size of their trucks has decreased 24%. More consumers than ever have been returning newly purchased automobiles, while Teslas have actually been returning themselves.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Reinman in the Morning.
I have my friend Patrick from Newmarket on the phone. I've never seen Harry Potter. Patrick, what's something you've never seen?
Game of Thrones.
What? You don't know Game of Thrones? I don't know Game of Thrones either. So let's pretend to talk about it. I know there's King Joffrey, right? He's the guy, the bad guy.
Then there was something like a red wedding, and there was like something happened, and I don't know.
So, like, if Billy Idol shows up to the red wedding with his white wedding, does that make a pink wedding?
Yeah, and,
maybe just one of the people getting married is named Red, and it's actually Red's wedding, and maybe, like, Red Shoebarn. Red from Red Shoebarn is getting married. Yeah, that's what I heard happened on Game of Thrones. But I'll say you this. I know that Peter Dinklage is in it. Do you think it's kind of, like, offensive that, he's a little person and God gave him the name Dinklage?
Yeah, that's maybe. I hope it's an acting name.
I don't think it is. I don't think you'd pick that name if you were living that life. In sports last night, the Celtics. Oh, what a crushing! They got beat pretty convincingly down in New York by the New York Knicks. That was unfortunate, but I'll tell you something. I would not give the Lakers troubles to the Celtics. Did you see what happened? LeBron James, he could be out for the season. He had an injured foot. He played through it on Sunday. Oh, I'm doing fine. And no, now he's really, really injured. And that's what they're saying is that LeBron could be out for the year for the Lakers. Can you imagine that? In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and get an update.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
LeBron James out with an injury, but I heard hair transplant.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Reinman in the Morning.
Now, Megan, what did you just call me because I didn't know Harry Potter? Repeat it?
I called you an uncultured swine.
Yeah.
But I'm also one to talk because I never read the books either, and every person of my generation did. So...
Well, what else is going on? Tell me.
I can't believe you make me call out the mean things I say to you off air. We're pals. You and I are pals. We have a complicated relationship, but we're pals.
Yes. Pals call pals uncultured swines. What's happening?
Of course. I am a huge travel fan. I want to travel all over the place. And I came up with an idea to write about what would the 7 modern wonders of New Hampshire be, should they all be within our state?
Well, number 1 has to be Fritz Weatherby.
Of course.
Yeah.
In the flesh.
I don't know about the others because we lost Old Man on the Mountain. Let's go the other way. What's something about New Hampshire that you're like, I don't know if it's that great. I think it's just okay.
Snow.
Oh.
I hate it. That's the easiest thing.
That was a quick answer.
I every morning I walk out to my car. I should wear mittens, but I don't because I'm a dumb person. I was about to say something I can't.
You're an uncultured swine.
Yeah, I'm about to say something I can't say on air. But I go out to my car. There's a layer of ice on my windshield. I don't have gloves on because I'm a fool. So I take my tiny hands. My hands basically stopped growing when I was 9. So I have these tiny, like, 3rd grader hands. They're freezing to death as I'm trying to chip the ice off my car. And then I just die a little inside. And I want the weather to warm up. And I ask myself, why am I here? Why do I live here? And then I grumble and curse and like everybody. And then I make my way to work. And then I come on the radio and I talk and I smile and I act like things are fine. When in reality, I just want to go to Florida.
Well, our session is up, Megan. I'll send you your copay in the mail.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
It's rumored that Tom Brady could pursue a career in stand-up comedy. His best joke? Saying he is retired from football. That's right, Tom Brady may be quitting football and trying comedy. Or he could sign with the Jets and do both. Yes, Tom Brady might tour as a nightclub act, while Gronk will be his ventriloquist dummy.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Reinman in the Morning.
We've been talking popular things that we don't know anything about. I have Lynn from Rochester on the phone. Lynn, what is something you don't know anything about?
TikTok.
TikTok. So the app TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about TikTok either. So let's pretend to know about it. So I know there's a thing called duets. People do duets on TikTok. Maybe we should do a TikTok duet. Which song do you think we should sing?
Let's do a Christmas song.
A Christmas song? Do you want to do?
I know.
Do you want to do? Let's do it right now. Let's do Jingle Bells.
Sure.
Jingle bells,
right.
jingle bells,
Jingle bells,
jingle all the way. Oh, what fun! That's all we can sing. That's all we can sing because then I have to pay a royalty. We've been talking about things here on Ryman in the Morning. Cool things that we know nothing about. Kim from Portsmouth wrote in on the Shark app. Doesn't know anything about the Boston Red Sox. She says. Lived here for 3 years, don't know the Red Sox. Well, don't blame you. A lot of people who've lived here forever don't know many of the Red Sox right now. See, Kim, they were a baseball team, and they used to compete and try to win, and now their ballpark's a Spirit Halloween store. No, actually, the Red Sox are maybe turning things around. In fact, they're down in spring training, and they have this guy. His name's Jaron Duran, and had a big game yesterday. He had a monster home run down in their spring training park. His name's Jaron Duran. It's hard to remember, but I know someone who can help us.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Jaron Duran plays for the Red Sox. Duran, they play the Reflex.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Ryman in the Morning.
We've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app or shark1053.com, and Megan has some questions.
Well, I was interested to read about something you wrote about a tire playground in a seacoast town. And this was obviously before my time, but I had no clue that even existed. Tell me more.
A lot of people don't, and a lot of people forgot all about it, which is crazy. Yeah, it's the tire playground over in Northampton, New Hampshire. You have to go to the Shark app, shark1053.com, if you don't know where it was, because you would never know now. But there used to be a whole playground made out of tires. And it was giant. It was sprawling. It was like bigger than most playgrounds. I loved it because, as I say in the article, it was like riskier to play on the playground than to be playing sports on one of the playing fields. Like you were actually safer playing like slide tackle soccer than you were on the playground. But that was it. We loved it. And it had this giant slide, and it was just wood and metal and tires. And it was fantastic.
When you were a kid, what was your favorite piece of playground equipment in general? Was there one, when you were at school or when you were just out and about, was there a particular thing that you enjoyed playing on the most?
I would say the swings.
Same.
Yeah. How come for you?
Weirdly enough, my first inclination is to say it gave me time to think, but I don't really know what I was thinking about. I just remember I would enjoy. I think it was just my imagination, my childhood imagination. I was flying. I was living the dream.
Yeah.
I think that's what it boils down to.
That's your meditation back then.
Yeah.
I liked it because we always do that cool thing where you jump off. The one problem was one time this kid at my school, he went all the way around. Did it ever happen to any of your friends?
No.
Dude, he went all the way around.
That takes dedication.
And he was fine, but they still took him to the nurse because he had to be examined and everything. So shout out to my friend Brian who went all the way around the top of the swings.
Honestly, that's bragging rights now.
It's X Games. It's pretty awesome.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Fox News is facing backlash from both sides of the aisle after revelations of fraud. You can tell they're unpopular by their new morning show, Fox and Acquaintances. The White House banned TikTok from all government-issued cell phones. Said President Biden, "What is TikTok and what is a cell phone?" This week, it snowed in Los Angeles, and it was so cold in Beverly Hills, even the young people couldn't move their faces. That was a Botox joke.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Reinman in the Morning.
Daryl Hall and John Oates. That is their official name. You know that? They're not Hall & Oates, for real. That's a Mandela theory thing. You know that thing where our mind remembers things differently? I say, I got a Hall. No, it's Daryl Hall and John Oates. They do not like being called Hall & Oates. That's true. And as a matter of fact, I don't even know if they're Daryl Hall and John Oates anymore. It sounds like it's Daryl Hall or John Oates. Daryl Hall, he had an interview with Bill Maher, the comedian, and he says they're not together anymore. Says they're solo acts. Isn't that crazy? Someone as cool as Daryl Hall would talk to Bill Maher. Nonetheless, we were speaking about this earlier. So Tom Brady, our friend Tom Brady, he's having a tough time. And it doesn't seem like he knows what to do with himself. And he now, I guess he's thinking about going and doing stand-up comedy. That's what Tom Brady's thinking of doing. Oh, my gosh. You know something? We'll get things rolling here. Someone who typically doesn't do humor, but this felt like his department.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Here's a joke for Tom Brady. What's with this audience? I haven't seen so many jerks since I got a massage with Bob Kraft.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Reinman in the Morning.
Megan's not here just yet. She's running a little bit behind today, but that's okay. So I'm going to take this one and take this opportunity to tell you about something I wrote for the Shark app or shark1053.com. It is about the novel I Have Some Questions for You. Hey, let me ask you something. I have some questions for you. Are you one of those true crime fans? Are you one of those freaks that stays home on Friday nights instead of going out to the movies or parties or like socializing with people? You watch all these shows like Dateline, 2020, and Netflix, huh? About murder and crime and stuff? Yeah? Okay, so am I. Well, that's why I'm reading this book. And let me tell you something. It's based right here in New Hampshire. This is by Rebecca Mackay. She's a New York Times best-selling author. This is like the hottest crime novel there is out there right now. If you go to the Shark app, shark1053.com, you can read all about it. No spoilers. I'm just a couple chapters into it. I'm liking it. You know my favorite crime? Remember the guy who dressed up as a tree and he robbed a bank in Manchester, New Hampshire? Remember that guy? Now, I want a novel about that. So can you get on that, write that book, and then I'll write you up a little thing on the Shark app, shark1053.com.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Well, today is National Peanut Butter Day. I would celebrate, but I am allergic to made-up holidays. A new study finds that more college students than ever are cheating on exams. When asked where he got that data, the researcher said, I copied it off another researcher. Baseball star Joey Votto is predicting an alien invasion and a Cincinnati Reds World Series championship. Most laughed it off, while Pete Rose bet 50 grand on E.T.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Here's another joke for Tom Brady. Knock, knock. Who's there? Antonio Brown. Tell him I'm not here.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Reinman in the Morning.
I have Patrick from Newmarket on the line. Patrick, tell me a joke.
What kind of sneakers does the chicken wear?
What kind of sneakers does a chicken wear?
Reebok?
Reebok? He's here all week. Don't try the chicken parm. Thank you so much, Patrick. You have a good day.
All right, have a good day, man.
You too.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Here's one last joke for Tom Brady. Take my wife, please. No, wait, that was just a joke.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Reinman in the Morning.
First of all, Megan, where were you yesterday?
I was in the process of fixing world hunger.
Oh, good.
And eliminating climate change.
Awesome. Now tell me what's going on in the Shark app or shark1053.com.
So over this past weekend, I had the pleasure of going up to Madison, New Hampshire, up to Madison Elementary School, where I met a woman named Kate Stanley. She owns Turkey Street Maples, which is a sugar house in a nearby town that I feel so bad I can't pronounce the name. Is it?
Wait, why is it called Turkey Street, though?
I actually don't know. But regardless, I was really happy to be there because Kate does it all. She's a teacher at the elementary school, and she also owns this sugar house along with her husband. And she incorporated maple syrup and maple tapping and just knowledge about getting maple syrup into the curriculum for her students. And I got to watch over this past weekend as she taught the kids how to get maple from the trees, sort of similar to what you did with your daughter. Didn't you guys go up north and do some maple tapping of your own?
No, we went over to Hampstead, Kingston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but do you think it's called Turkey Street because there's a lot of turkeys there? Or do you think there was a person named Turkey?
I actually wouldn't be shocked if it was because there were a lot of turkeys.
Okay.
It's up there. But it was such an awesome time. The kids were sweet. The parents were wonderful. and everybody had a great experience. And I just wanted to talk them up a little bit because Kate and the students and that community deserves all the recognition. So,
and she's a good teacher, Kate.
She is. And the students...
Because it's got to be tough because, like, I bet all day the kids just want to talk about Turkey Street. I mean, it's hilarious.
I'm sure.
You go to school on Turkey Street?
It was so funny, though, because the kids...
Like, I bet they steal the sign every day and, like, hang it up in their room.
The kids and the students genuinely love this, this aspect of the curriculum and just learning about maple syrup and maple tapping. Maple season's apparently incredibly short. It's anywhere from 15 to 35 days.
Let me ask you a question. Do you ever take maple syrup and put it on your turkey?
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Northampton, Massachusetts revealed that an art installation dedicated to the Ninja Turtles was paid for with COVID relief funds. Cowabummer, dude. Today is Dr. Seuss Day, but thanks to the price of eggs, the book is now called Just Green Ham. In automobile news, I found my car keys.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Reinman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
Do you ever donate a lot of your used items to places like Goodwill, Salvation Army, things like that? What do you do with your trash or giveaways?
Yeah, I've donated them. I've donated things.
Well, one of our coworkers, and I'm actually really grateful for this, she compiled a list of some items that New Hampshire and Maine Goodwill stores will refuse to accept.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't really, I've never tried giving away anything like in really rough shape or anything really out of the ordinary. It's usually clothes, books, movies, knickknacks, things like that.
Right. It's funny if it's clothes, though. You know what they should do? This is just an idea. To help everybody on every end, they should have people there from Goodwill at the store as well. Someone next to the cashier who will tell you if what you're buying to wear yourself would be accepted at Goodwill.
Yeah, so if you basically buy this cheap shirt and it's going to rip in a matter of days, you can give it to Goodwill.
Or it's a nice way of saying, maybe you don't buy this shirt for you.
That is true. We all have our giveaways, though.
I'm just saying, you know how you're spending money on this thing? We won't take it for free. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever had something turned away?
No.
So before we go, we were talking Harry Potter the other day.
Correct.
That was a couple days ago. Shocking. Still haven't read all the books. But you wanted me to take a quiz.
I did. I wanted you to take the quiz that tells you what your Hogwarts house is.
All right. Any guesses?
So I have a guess, and then our coworker Sean also provided his guess that he told me before coming in here. He guessed you were a Ravenclaw. I'm guessing you're a Slytherin.
Now, why would I be a Ravenclaw?
I didn't ask Sean.
What does Ravenclaw indicate?
So I am by no means versed in the Harry Potter world, but Ravenclaws are like the book smart ones.
Okay, interesting. And what's Slytherin again?
Cunning. That's the word I'm going to use.
What did you say?
Cunning.
Okay, good. Well, tell you what, little cliffhanger. We come back part 3 in the next hour with What's Up with Megan. I'll tell you what Harry Potter house I'm in.
Is one of us right, though? Are Sean or myself, is one of us correct?
One of you's correct.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Will Smith made his first award speech since last year's Oscars incident. Said Smith, "There are so many people here I would like to thank. Happy birthday to James Bond star Daniel Craig, who turned 55. When asked what he wanted, he said, Bond. Gold Bond. Prince Charles officially evicted Harry and Meghan from their royal residence. And even that place costs less than a condo at Hampton Beach.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Reinman in the Morning.
Well, we reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app or shark1053.com, and my friend Megan has questions.
I admire your ability to find the irony in every situation. 2 Massachusetts dogs fell through the ice. Thankfully, they're okay. But the thing that makes the situation, gives it a little twist, is the name of the lake, which is just tragic. And it makes you wonder, why can't the dogs just read what the name of the lake is?
Yeah, I thought it was made up. It felt like a fake headline, but I read the story. And then, no, I'm not going to give it away. You got to go to the Shark app, shark1053.com. But nowhere in there does anyone say, haha, I get it. Or they just tell the story straight. Everyone's like, oh, good thing those dogs are okay. And I'm like, yeah, it is a good thing. But, why did you name the lake this? It's just... And then the second question is, why is anyone going near it then, if that's the name of it?
Literally. And people have written on the Shark app or shark1053.com, if you type in some of the funniest town names, someone wrote a while back about some of the funniest town names in New Hampshire. And I
That
think
was me.
someone wrote
That
one.
was me.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah, there's some funny ones.
Yeah, so go look that up because people have quite the sense of humor.
Yeah. Dixville Notch is number one.
Nice.
That's like a Yosemite Sam store down at Eaton Plaza.
I think you should cut out the second half of that word. I think it'd just be funny. Haha, I'm an adult. I'm funny.
Yeah, that'd be in the name of my dorm in college. But speaking of which, we get back to the Harry Potter quiz. All right, so what were the two choices again?
Well, Sean guessed Ravenclaw. I guessed Slytherin.
Okay.
And I know I'm right. I know I'm right.
And the winner is... the winner is Slytherin.
Wow, I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
At all.
Well,
what a
did
shock.
Hey, you know what did it for me? The two of the questions, you can go to the Harry Potter site. J.K. Rowling made this quiz, and we know she's wonderful. Anyway, but you can go there. The two that got me, I think, were I chose Dusk over Dawn just because I like the orange sky. But why is that a problem? I love the orange sky.
Know.
That's just not fair. Like right away, I was like, this is rigged. And then the other thing was, what pet would you bring? And it was down to owl or cat. And I really like owls because there was an owl when I was in 5th grade that used to watch me every day at the bus stop, make sure I was okay.
That's nice.
I know, but they eat weird things, and I don't want to have that to deal with.
I mean,
and so I just picked cat, and I knew right then I'm going to be a Slytherin.
I want you to guess what my Hogwarts house is, and again, I'm going to read the general characteristics. Hufflepuff's
You're
loyalty.
a Ravenclaw.
Hufflepuff's
You're a
loyalty.
Ravenclaw.
I haven't even listed it yet. Hufflepuff's loyalty and hardworking. Ravenclaw, wit and learning. Slytherin, cunning and ambition.
Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, one of my girlfriends, and also Sean, the same person who insisted that you were a Ravenclaw, they're both like, you're a Gryffindor. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm literally the most like cautious, tentative person. I'm not what I would call incredibly brave. I avoid roller coasters with drops because I don't like them. That's not a Gryffindor.
But before we consult Sean as an expert on all things, isn't Sean the same guy who goes up and like sits in a house on the ice during the weekend? Doesn't he spend his time with his buddies up on the lake?
That is true. Our coworker Sean's a big hockey guy, and he when we had that
just
Arctic
hangs out in a
freeze,
hut.
when we had that Arctic freeze, where was he? Was he inside? No.
He should talk to those two dogs.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Golf courses opening soon. If Carol asks, I'm at jury duty.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Reinman in the Morning. It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Lawyer Alex Murdaugh was found guilty yesterday. When asked why, jurors said, because we weren't allowed to find him wicked guilty. Scientists have found an ancient hidden corridor in a Great Pyramid, and even it contains 3 Starbucks, 5 Dunkins, and a CVS. A weatherman in New York is speaking out after images were leaked showing him in the nude, marking the first time a weatherman claimed he had a cold front.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Reinman in the Morning.
Megan, what's going on?
So I know we're expecting more snow tonight into tomorrow, which I'm really not looking forward to. But
Are we really expecting it? Because I'm a little skeptical.
I know it's so hard living in New Hampshire or New England in general, because I've had people say, like, how much snow are you getting? And I'm like, you know me, you know where I live. I can't tell you.
I heard rain. I'm hearing two different things.
It's probably going to be everything all at once.
Yeah,
all of the above.
We miss Mark. Some people have asked, by the way. Mark's just off for this week. I think he's back next week. But yeah, I got to get the rundown from him. Got to get some expert opinion. But
yeah,
what's going on? What's going on with snow?
So someone compiled a list of some snow day activities to help keep your cabin fever away, which I really appreciate because I live in a small place and I will get very stir crazy if I'm snowed in and I don't have a ton of things to do. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, give me one. What's a good one? What's an outside the box one that I wouldn't have thought of? Because I would think read a book, watch TV.
Well, one that someone came up with is an adult coloring book, which I actually I have one of those.
Awesome.
I haven't used it literally since 2020. I got it sort of when I was in college when the pandemic hit, and so I got sent home. And one of the things that I got to entertain myself was I went on good old Amazon and I ordered a coloring book and some markers. And I still have the coloring book. I just haven't used it since.
Was that another subtle dig, though, at how much older I am than you? I first felt sad. I was like, oh, man. And then I realized I was in college. You really hit college there. I was in college when the pandemic hit. Kind of looked over at me.
It's an interesting story to tell. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
How old I am?
No.
Yeah. All right. Megan will be back.
Pleading the fifth.
Megan will be back a couple more times. Go to the Shark app, shark1053.com. Find out some good activities to do indoors for your cabin fever. Adult coloring books, huh?
Yeah, that's one of the options.
Where's Waldo? Magic Guy?
Maybe.
Do you know what those are?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hey, did you see this? The Bruins signed their best player, David Pastrnak. Now, his nickname's Pasta. They call him Pasta. They signed him to a massive contract extension, 8 years, and he could spend his whole career in Boston. Never-ending pasta. Here, let's get an update.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Pasta that'll last 8 years? Where are we, the Olive Garden?
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Reinman in the Morning.
Megan's back, and off-air, you were telling me that you had a real crazy experience a couple nights ago.
Well, basically, I was on my way home from work, and I was under the impression that I had gotten gas over the weekend. I had not gotten gas over the weekend.
Wait, how are you under the impression?
I just thought I had. I thought I had. And I looked down.
Did your butler mislead you? What happened?
I wish. So I looked down, and I literally have like 15% gas left. I have barely any gas left, and I'm like, holy crap.
Wait, and you have nowhere to stop? Nowhere to get gas?
Well, I was on the way home, so I said, oh, thankfully there's a gas station right on my route home. Perfect.
Uh-huh.
As I'm approaching the gas station, I reach in my purse for my wallet. My wallet's not in my purse. I left my wallet at my house. So now I have to drive to my house, get my wallet, go back out. And I'm seeing, like, I'm driving, my gas light starts to turn on. The song playing on my car is When the Party's Over by Billie Eilish. I thought my party was about to be over. I had plans with a friend that night. I thought I was going to be stranded on the side of the road with no gas, with no wallet. I was literally bracing myself to ask my upstairs neighbor to, like, borrow his credit card if for whatever reason my wallet also wasn't at my house.
Yeah.
And thankfully, the wallet was at my house. I was able to get gas.
Thought you were going to have to hitchhike. Megan and I were talking hitchhiking, so I asked for your best hitchhiking story. What do you got for me? Patrick from Newmarket.
So, went to a wedding in Maine, and one of my buddies had a little too much fun, and he left the ceremony, and the next thing I know, I look into the woods and I see trees moving.
Yeah.
So I go out, I'm on the main roads yelling for him, and this car pulls up next to me and is going, it's this nice couple, probably in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're going, hey, need a ride? And I'm going, yeah, I'm trying to find my buddy. And I basically looked like I was calling out for my lost dog. I'm like, got my head out the door, screaming for my friend as we're going up and down these back streets.
Was your friend named, like, Fido or Rex by any chance? You have a dog.
No,
Patches! Where's my friend Patches?
Yeah, exactly. But we ended up finding him, and they drove us back to the hotel. But it was definitely surreal, because it was in Maine, and it was like nowhere Maine, no street lights.
That's good. I'm glad you found him. You know what you got to do? You got to get like one of those invisible fence collars the next time you take him somewhere.
Yeah, we got to get the shock collar the next time,
Exactly.
Goes up for a drink. No.
Yeah. What's your friend's name?
Tim.
Tim, you behave, okay?
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Pilots for Delta Airlines agreed to a 34% raise, while pilots for Spirit Airlines agreed to share a seat belt. A Japanese designer has introduced clothing that changes color when exposed to UV light. Just like the towels at Red Roof Inn. Before Alex Murdaugh was found guilty, O.J. Simpson predicted the verdict would be innocent. Said O.J., well, that makes me 0 for 2 guessing the outcome of murder trials.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Reinman in the Morning.
I asked you for your best hitchhiker story. Johnny C. from Exeter, what do you got?
I thought he was a buddy, and back in high school, he stopped, and he still to take off, and I reached around and grabbed his tow hitch, and I skid hopped like a couple miles, and we ended up the party, and he stopped, and I jumped out, and he goes, where the hell did you come from?
See, like you pulled like the serial killer thing on your friend. You just scared him going into that party.
The old skid hop thing,
The original version of the Uber app. Speaking of good apps.
Now on Reinman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Megan, what else is going on?
Here's a little life hack for you. Apparently, some of the best fried chicken in the state of New Hampshire is at a New Hampshire gas station.
I've heard about this.
I don't know where it is. You'll have to go on the Shark app or shark1053.com for details. But I will say, that does sound like an interesting kind of scenario, because you wouldn't think that gas station food would be the best?
Why not?
I don't know. It's the stigma.
Yeah,
it's
but if at the same time though, if you're needing to get some food from that gas station, any food at that moment seems like the best food. You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying?
If you're on the road, if you're a weary traveler and you just want some fried chicken in your life.
Yeah, if you're riding a unicycle from Maine to Florida or walking from Utah to Maine, yeah, you might stop at a gas station like some other people we've had on Ryman in the morning.
You rock, Avery.
And you too, Isaiah. Hey, you know who's traveling to Boston on Monday night? WWE. They're doing Monday Night Raw at the TD Garden. Yeah, let's get an update.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Vince McMahon in a college town. What could go wrong?
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Ryman in the Morning.
Megan is back because there's actually a part 2 to the story. Okay, so you found your wallet, you got your gas, then what happened?
I have a great night with one of my friends. We saw the new Ant-Man movie. And then the following day, this morning, I drive into work where our boss, the big boss, she looks at me and says, "You were tailgating me on the way to work." So I started off today by tailgating my boss to work.
Gosh.
I can't catch a break, John. I can't catch him. Like, the timing of all of these things, like, just all together, I'm just like, what is going on? I don't know if I need sunshine. I don't know if I need a sedative. I don't know what it is I'm looking for, but something's got to give, my friend.
That's crazy. That's a crazy one. And now you guys are in the same building all day.
Yeah. No. She and I are good. We're pals, I think.
Yeah. It's not like she could be listening to the radio right now, Megan.
Hey.
The station she runs.
Thank you for my job. I love it here. It's great.
You know, that's an interesting thing for you listening. Have you ever had an embarrassing moment with your boss? That's what I want to hear. I want to hear your most embarrassing moment with a boss. Someone you worked for. Give me a call. Yeah.
But I think it's only fair that before you encourage people to call, you should say your embarrassing moment with either our current boss or any past boss.
Sure. When I was working for The Tonight Show, Jimmy and I each had a little bit too much to drink, which for me is anything to drink because I don't really drink. And we almost got in a fist fight over the Beach Boys.
Ooh, you got to come back and elaborate more on that story.
And you wanted me to tell a story?
Yes, you said you and Jimmy got into a fist fight over the Beach Boys.
We almost got into a fist fight. I don't know if he knew how clenched my fist was. Yeah, we were at a writer's retreat 2017, and I was sitting next to him, and he ordered me a martini. And he said, "Hey, man, just have a martini." He knew I didn't drink. And I just said, "Oh, I'm good." And then he said, "Oh, come on, just a couple sips." Okay, so I figure, what's the big deal? One martini. So I drink the martini with Jimmy, and then it hits me right as I'm finishing this thing. Wait a second. Who did I just share a martini with? This may not be like a regular martini. And all of a sudden, you know, the room just turns upside down. There's a difference between like a me and you martini and a Jimmy martini. Jimmy Fallon martini, a little bit different from most people's. So, yeah, we started talking and somehow it got to who's really responsible for the Beach Boys, Mike Love or Brian Wilson. And he just kept saying Mike Love, and I got infuriated. I was so angry, and he just kept going, and he went at me for like 3 hours. Oh, I remember what really turned him was I was making fun of Mike Love always wearing hats because he's bald, and he just wouldn't care. And then I said, yeah, he's got a hair problem. He's got a lot of bad haircuts, you know, just like you. And Jimmy's really sensitive about his haircuts. Like if you ever watch Saturday Night Live, he always has a different haircut every week. And then things got real. Next thing I knew, we were being separated. So,
jeez, I'm speechless. Honestly, all's well that ends well. Happy ending.
Yeah, you can go to the Shark app, shark1053.com, and hear an interview with Mike Love and an interview with Jimmy Fallon.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
I don't understand rugby.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Ryman in the Morning.
Well, we reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app or shark1053.com. Megan has questions.
This just in, we have a Sandman sighting. The one, the only, Manchester's own Adam Sandler himself.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm skeptical,
Hold
as
up.
I said.
My question for you is maybe? You don't know?
Well, here's the thing, is that someone posted this weird tweet of what looks like Adam Sandler touring Boston University. And I'm familiar with Boston University. My sister went there. I know a lot of other people that went there. I know the facilities, and looks like it. Looks a lot like Sandler. And someone I respect a lot who's big on social media also said, hey, I think this is Adam Sandler. And but I couldn't find any other sources that would verify that. It is very hard to do. I know from teaching at Emerson that when people would come in and tour, that you keep that quiet. It stays 100% top secret. But there's a tell in the picture that makes me think it's maybe not Adam. But you have to check it out on Shark app, shark1053.com. If you look closely, you go, wait a second. Is that really Adam Sandler?
Interesting.
Physically looks like him. That's all I'll say. But there's something where you go, there's an attire issue. Where you go,
okay.
Now, you went to UNH. Did you ever run into anyone there? Did anyone ever come back? You said, oh my gosh, there goes so-and-so.
Like celebrities?
Yeah.
So the thing that always sort of irked me was that we would have some politicians come and speak, but I never found out about it until I would see someone posting about it after the fact. And that always really annoyed me because some of these people I would have gone to. I forget if I had advance notice about this person coming, but I was literally leaving the gym, going to get food, and Bernie Sanders was talking on the lawn in the fishbowl. It's a part of campus.
Are you sure that was a scheduled event, or was it just
was
Bernie
Sanders on a platform talking to a bunch of students, and I was like, Bernie Sanders?
You sure he didn't just see a lawn and decide he had to go yell at the kids?
The amount of hacky sack being played here is unacceptable.
And you'll have plenty of time to play hacky sack because it's the weekend, which means it's also time to go to the movies.
I'm Charlie Butters, and it's time for your Friday Flicks. In theaters is the newest Rocky sequel, Creed 3. It stars Michael B. Jordan, LeBron B. James, and Air B. Bud. Out for a limited run as a reboot of the Stephen King classic Children of the Corn. The film tells the story of psychopathic children living in a cornfield, or as most teachers would call that, a nice change of pace. New on Netflix is the animated series Karate Sheep. Your kids will love these two farm animals who use karate and high-tech gadgets to fend off bad guys, while you yell, how is this any different from the Ninja Turtles? I'm Charlie Butters, and remember to keep an eye on the screen and a hand in the popcorn.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. New episodes of Reinman in the Morning on demand drop every Friday, and live episodes of Reinman in the Morning air Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 on 102.1, 105.3 The Shark, classic hits for the Seacoast.